Breakfast is different wherever you are. In Germany, a breakfast includes bratwurst, sausages, cheeses, and bread. In the Philippines, a breakfast might be mangoes with rice and little sausages, called longanisa. A Turkish breakfast is made up of cheeses, olives, eggs, cucumbers, and spicy meat. A breakfast in Japan might be tofu, fish, and rice with soy sauce. And in Australia, breakfast is anything with Vegemite on it.
What's Vegemite?
It's a spread made from yeast and vegetables. It's great on bread or crackers. This is our big breakfast. Blueberry pancakes with maple syrup, orange and pineapple pieces, orange juice, and milk. There is a lot that goes into our big breakfast. Would you like to see where all the ingredients come from?
Yeah! Welcome to the Big Breakfast! Where does milk come from?
To find out that, we'll head to Fairfield, Vermont and the Hourigan family farm. It's 4:30 a.m. Time to milk the cows. They follow each other into the milk room and line up at the milking machines. Workers clean each cow's udder with iodine and then connect them to the milking machines. The room can milk 20 cows at a time. Machines pump fresh milk from the cows to a refrigerated storage tank. Each cow produces about 8 gallons of milk every day. As the sun comes up, a tanker truck arrives to pick up the morning's milk.
That's a big truck!
First, the driver takes a sample from the tank for testing. Then he connects to his truck. It takes almost an hour to fill up the big tanker. Cows get milk twice a day, every day. For dairy farmers like Harold, there are no days off.
Getting up in the morning and doing the cows and the chores, that's routine, and day and night, that has to be done 7 days a week, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and St. Patrick's Day.
It's 8 in the morning as the tanker full of milk heads to the creamery. The driver takes a sample from his truck and brings it to the lab for testing.
The tankers of milk that we receive at the plant first get screened in the laboratory. We do 2 sets of tests. One is for antibiotics, and the other is for bacterial levels. Some bacteria in the milk can make you very sick, and if there's a high level of bacteria, then we have to reject the milk.
Our milk passes the test, so it can be pumped into the plant. Everything is kept very clean. The driver even sprays the dust off the truck before unloading. Once inside, the milk is separated into 2 parts, the cream and the skim. Both are pasteurized, heated up almost to boiling, to kill any bacteria. The cream is sent off to be made into ice cream, and the skim is stored in large refrigerated tanks. Finally, some milk comes here to Crescent Ridge Dairy in Shannon, Massachusetts. Bottles are filled with fresh milk and packed into crates. Then they are placed on trucks and drivers deliver the milk to stores and homes around the area.
Where does flour come from?
Flour is made from grain, like wheat. And for that, we head west to Ben Walter's wheat farm in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada.
We've been farming for 4 generations. When I got involved in the farming business, my dad had a small farm and small tractors and small equipment.
Ben's farm has grown a lot since then.
We have 20 combines running, and so there'll probably be over 40 people involved in the harvesting operation. We tell the crew, you know, if it's a dry morning, be there 8 o'clock, and we'll get the combines running. They fuel up the combines. They do the maintenance on them, and by the time the sun has warmed up the ground and the grain is ready to cut, they're ready to go.
The combines head into the nearby fields and start harvesting.
How does a combine work?
Front blades cut the wheat and pull it inside the combine, where grains are separated from the rest of the plant, called the chaff. Wheat grains are stored in a hopper, and the chaff is sprayed out the back. It is used as a fertilizer. When the combine's hopper is full, the operator calls for a tractor. The tractor pulls up alongside as the combine keeps working. Grain is unloaded through the long auger. This operation takes 2 skilled drivers. When the tractor is full, it heads off to waiting trucks. Throughout the day, tractors come again and again to unload into the trucks. When a truck is full, it drives off to the grain elevator in Lethbridge. A grain elevator is really a group of giant storage silos. Trucks loaded with wheat grain arrive from the field. The grain is dumped onto an elevator which lifts the grain to the top of the building. Then a conveyor takes it to a storage silo. Different grain is stored in different silos. In the lab, a technician weighs each batch of grain. It's late in the day and combines are still in the field. Ben's son Neil drives his combine to start a new field. It's a great view from the driver's seat.
Yeah, harvest is a really intense time just because everything you've worked for, it's sitting there in the field. Until you get it in and taken care of and put it away, it's just, you could lose it overnight.
As evening comes to the prairie, Ben's crews are still working. A storm is headed their way, so they will work past midnight to harvest the wheat before the rains.
How do they turn wheat into flour?
we'll come here to Ellison's flour mill. Wheat grains get ground down in giant grinding machines. At every stage, the wheat grains get smaller and finer. A network of pipes carry the grains throughout the plant. The last stage is the sifting, in giant wooden sifters. Now, Farmer Ben's wheat is turned into flour, another ingredient in our big breakfast.
What about these?
Our search for blueberries brings us here to Baxley, Georgia, and Blueberry Farms of Georgia. It's just after sunrise on a warm summer day. The berries are plump and blue, which means they are ripe and ready for picking. Crews work in the field. They have a lot of berries to pick today. Watch!
Todo este, mira que sale chido, ¿sí? Trabajando. ¿Qué tal, güey?
Gigi McDonald Morris is in charge of the operation.
I'm the general manager. I run everything from the field operations during the year, and then I run all the harvest operations when we're picking, and all the packing operations from start to finish.
There's a lot to do on a blueberry farm.
Weather is one of the number one challenges, insects and different diseases. You have to plan by the season. Each season has different diseases. Each season has different insects.
To keep insects away, Gigi calls for a crop duster.
What's that?
A crop duster is a special airplane that can fly really low to the ground to spray crops.
What does it spray?
The crop duster sprays this organic field with garlic and rosemary oil. Insects don't like it, but it doesn't hurt the plants at all. Watch how the pilot flies low over the fields, again and again. It takes a lot of skill to be a crop duster pilot.
What's that?
That's a mechanical harvester. Watch how it shakes all the blueberries off the plant and collects them right into the bins. Workers ride along behind and stack up the bins full of blueberries. This is the last step of the blueberry harvest, after the fields have first been picked by hand. After harvest, the blueberries come here, to the packing house. Full bins are dumped on a conveyor, where the berries are washed and sorted by a color analyzer. It separates out the berries that aren't ripe. Workers pick out leaves and sticks, as well as any damaged berries. blueberries are packed for the supermarket. Watch. Berries must be kept cool to stay fresh. A supervisor checks a special thermometer that records the temperature over 30 days. He places a unit in every truck where it keeps track of the temperature for the entire trip. The truck full of fresh blueberries leaves the farm for supermarkets across the country. Another ingredient in our big breakfast.
What about these?
Our oranges come from the Indian River region of Florida, an Owls family farm, managed by Jeff Shorner.
Al is my dad's name, and he started the business back in 1977. And our family's been working this since for about 30 years now.
It's early morning as the crew loads equipment and sanitizes the trucks. Then it's off to the groves. Today we pick very special oranges called Honeybells. The crew gets to work, and Jeff and his son Matt work right along with them.
I'll let him know to spray up. Yeah, I'll call him.
My favorite thing is getting up on a cool winter morning and heading into the groves, and the sun's just hitting the oranges and they're colored up from the cold weather.
Honeybells need to be picked by hand. It's hard work.
We have to go out there with clippers in our hand, real sharp clippers. And we go in there and we grab the fruit and we snip it off, and that way we don't injure the tender bell, we don't pull the top out of them. Well, Matt and Bradley, they've been working at it after school since they were old enough to be in kindergarten and first grade. They just kind of pick it up just because they're around it all the time.
The pickers work quickly and soon have full bags of oranges that weigh over 50 pounds. Bins full of fresh picked oranges arrive at the packing house, ready to be processed. They get inspected and cleaned. Twigs are clipped and damaged fruit is separated out and used for cattle feed. The oranges are picked over and washed and sprayed to make sure that only the very best Honeybells make it to customers. Inside the packing house, Honeybells are placed in gift boxes for shipment across the country. Ready to go. Now, let's see how they make lots of orange juice. Just down the road from Owl's family farm is the Southern Garden citrus plant in Clewiston, Florida. Look, here comes a truck that's filled with over 80,000 oranges.
Wow!
Now, watch what happens. The best way to dump 80,000 oranges is to tip the truck on its end.
Cool! That's a lot of oranges.
Conveyors move the oranges to be washed and cleaned and sorted. Watch. They are lifted up into large storage bins. Different oranges are put in different bins.
inside.
The master control operator chooses which bins to open and the oranges move down into the plant. Different oranges are mixed for different types of juice. Next, they go through quality control, where any damaged oranges are recycled. Then they come here, where giant machines called extractors turn oranges into orange juice. These machines can make up to 650,000 gallons of juice every day. That's enough to fill over 72 giant tanker trucks.
Wow!
The juice is pasteurized, then chilled to 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius.
That's cold!
Florida oranges are only harvested in winter, so they are juiced all at once and then stored in giant refrigerated tanks. This lets us have Florida orange juice all year long.
Where do pineapples come from?
Our pineapples come from Hawaii and the beautiful island of Oahu. Honolulu's famous Diamond Head Beach has perfect waves for surfers.
Cool!
Everyone has the aloha spirit. A short drive from Honolulu are the pineapple fields of Wahiawa and Dole Plantation.
There's really nothing not to love about Hawaii.
Dan Nellis is the general manager.
We are subtropical. It doesn't get extremely hot in Hawaii. It also doesn't get very cold at all. And that's great for pineapple.
Tractors plow the rich Hawaiian soil. Minerals from ancient volcanoes give it a rust red color. Now, it's time to plant.
We'll take the crown or the top off of a existing pineapple, and that will become a brand new pineapple plant. We'll poke it into the ground, we'll water it, fertilize it, let it grow for about 12 months, and then a fruit will develop. Fruit will develop for another 6 months, and then we will harvest it.
Harvest time starts early.
The fruit is harvested by hand. It's grab the top of the pineapple and snap the fruit off of its growing stem. Then the pickers will place that onto a moving conveyor.
See how workers place the pineapples upside down in the truck to cushion them. When the truck is full, it heads to the packing house. A forklift takes the truck bed full of pineapples and places it in the water tank for washing.
We use the washing water tank to also separate some of the good fruit from some of the marginal fruit. A marginal fruit would sink and the good fruit will float and it will come into the packing house.
Inside, the fruit is checked for quality. Pineapples that don't make it are put in a bin where they will go for fertilizer, and the crowns will be used to grow more pineapples.
Cool!
Pineapples are washed again and dried. Then they are placed in boxes for shipping.
Wow! That's a lot of pineapples!
But we're not finished yet.
Then we will refrigerate it and bring the field heat out of it and cool it down to about a core temperature of somewhere around 48 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Then after it's chilled down, we will load it into refrigerated containers and truck it to the harbor where it will go on a ship and sail from Honolulu to the west coast of the United States. And it's refrigerated on its entire journey, so it arrives fresh and in good condition for the market.
Pineapples, another ingredient in our big breakfast.
What about maple syrup?
For maple syrup, we travel to a forest village in Rigaud, Quebec, Canada. This is Sucrerie de la Montagne, a syrup farm or sugar house that makes maple syrup in the traditional way. Pierre Fauché built this operation over 30 years ago.
In 1978, I found this maple forest, and I found it was an ideal place for me to build my life.
It's early morning in March and time to collect the maple sap. All around the compound, people are busy. A wood fire is started in the sugar house. The baker prepares fresh bread in a stone oven heated by a wood fire. Later today, there will be a big feast to celebrate the maple harvest and the end of winter. Maple syrup is made from the sap of maple trees. Each tree is drilled with a small spigot with an attached pail. Every morning in the spring, workers go from tree to tree to check on the pails. Many are still frozen. Pierre has over 3,000 buckets in this forest. They have to be checked every day during harvest season. When the sun warms the forest, ice thaws, and the sap begins to run. Clear maple sap is collected from each tree. Then, the sap comes to the sugar house where it is boiled over a hot wood fire. Pierre tests the sap as it boils away. It takes over 40 liters of maple sap to make 1 liter of maple syrup. Things get busy in the village as visitors arrive for the big feast. Pierre pours hot maple syrup into fresh snow, and the cold makes it turn hard like candy.
Cool.
Meanwhile, everyone gets ready for the maple syrup feast. The bread is ready. And live music attracts visitors to the large dining room. Inside, there's a warm fire and plenty to eat. Everyone celebrates the maple harvest and the coming of spring. Even Pierre has time to cook a few pancakes. But tomorrow, he'll be out in the maple forest again.
We don't even know how much syrup or sap we're going to get. We just wait for what the nature will give us. And we appreciate whatever we get. It's a bonus.
One of our biggest challenges is that we're dealing with nature, and nature is wind, it's storms, it's heat, it's rain, it's a lot of things of it are good, but you get too much of it, and it can go south on you.
Every year is different. We have hurricane years, and then we may have fruit, we may not have fruit. We have freeze years, and sometimes everything's going great, and one night we can lose all our crops.
Most farmers look at the sky a lot and wonder what the day's going to bring.
Lots of early mornings, lots of late nights. We start up at 6:30 in the morning and we usually run till dark at night.
The days can be 10 to 15 hours, 20 hours.
It's hard work, but it's a great place to live.
It's nice to grow up working every day with your father and your brothers.
Think about the harvesters that got up at 5 in the morning to go out there and cut that fruit off the tree and bring it in. Be thankful for oranges. Don't take them for granted, because diseases and weather patterns and development can take it all away.
When you're looking at that wheat and that loaf of bread is on the table, you know, just remember that there's a lot of hard work, there's a lot of faith, there's a lot of hope that went into that loaf of bread.
If you're a hard worker and you love to grow things and you love a challenge and you love being outdoors, agriculture is a wonderful thing to be in.
The most enjoyable part of this is being outdoors. You're growing something that people can eat. It's nutritious, it's good for them.
Farmers feed the world, you know, whether it's cabbage or lettuce or wheat or whatever it is. Somebody has to be growing the food to feed the world.
Stay tuned for the Big Breakfast Quiz right after the credits.
Are you ready for the Big Breakfast Quiz?
Question 1. How many gallons of milk does one cow produce every day? A. 4 gallons, B. 8 gallons, or C. 12 gallons? Answer B. 8 gallons. A cow produces about 8 gallons of milk every day during her milking period. Question 2. A combine cuts the wheat and separates the wheat grains from the rest of the plant, called the A. chaff, B. roots, or C. leaves. Answer A. chaff. The combine cuts the wheat and separates the wheat grains from the rest of the plant, called the chaff. It is sprayed out the back and used for fertilizer. Question 3. What kind of plane flies low to the ground and sprays a farmer's field? A. Biplane, B. Fighter jet, C. Crop duster. Answer C. Crop duster. A crop duster flies low to the ground to spray fertilizer or insect repellent on the plants. It takes a skilled pilot to fly a crop duster. Question 4. What's the name of the special oranges we saw at Al's family farm? A. Navel oranges, B. Honeybells, or C. Macintosh? Answer B. Honeybells. Al's family farm harvests special oranges called honeybells. They are sweet and delicious. Question 5. What is the top part of a pineapple called? A. The leaves, B. The bonnet, or C. The crown? Answer C. The crown. The top part of a pineapple is called the crown. It is planted in the ground and grows into a new pineapple plant. Question 6. How many liters of maple sap does it take to make 1 liter of maple syrup? A. 10, B. 24, or C. 40? Answer C. 40. It takes 40 liters of maple sap to boil down to 1 liter of maple syrup. And now for one last bonus question. What do people in Australia like to put on their bread in the morning? A. Olive oil, B. Vegemite, or C. Crocodile eggs? Answer B. Vegemite. Australians love Vegemite, a spread made from yeast and vegetables. They put it on bread in the morning